Energized Show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Forge Irish Stout and Or Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today we have the Moville Mauler. He is a couple of weeks out from fighting over at Bellator London. He is looking to remain undefeated, and he's fighting an undefeated opponent. Someone's has got to go. Darragh Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm great, excited, ready to go now.
Absolutely.
We're excited to see you,
yeah, very excited, Darragh, you've probably seen in the media and probably other fighters as well saying Darragh Kelly needs a step up in competition, and you finally got that step up in competition. How happy are you to get this step up?
Yeah, well, obviously, last year I was fighting guys who had only 4 or 5 fights, and I did need to step up. I think I got a big step up in competition the last time out, fighting a guy who was 7-1 with 7 finishes, and he was only beat by a guy I think who was 11-1. So that was a step up. Now, obviously, it was a nice handy one, but I think this is a step up again. So that's the way you have to do it in this, bit by bit.
Do you feel like sometimes you get that person who's 7-1 and it's like definitely a step up from what you fought, but then you dispatched them so easily that people are like, oh, that wasn't the step up people were looking for because you actually made it look so easy?
Oh, well, fuck them. It's a step up. Gives me good confidence knowing I can go in and beat them guys like that too. So
absolutely.
Do you just feel you're so far ahead of these people just that have had less than 10 pro fights?
No, not at all. I don't let myself think like that. I go into every fight as if these guys are better than me everywhere. So, I go in my own head as if I'm the underdog with a point to prove every time. That's the way I look at it.
How can you actually do that when you're on a 15-fight win streak and undefeated?
I actually take very little from it. Records, they always say records are for DJs, and things like that, but it is true. I've got tougher fights from boys who on paper are useless, and then guys who are meant to be killers and they're not. Take every fight serious, and every opponent's dangerous. So
very few undefeated fighters say records are for DJs, though.
It is true though, because boys can have padded records or. Well, some
of the very best though, like your Randy Couture, BJ Penn, Robbie Lawler. You look at their record just numbers wise, they're not unbelievable, but obviously as fighters they were absolutely legendary. So.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Some boys you can't trust their records. There's some dangerous boys out there who on paper look useless. So.
Yeah, sure. I think Mark Hunt nearly retired with a losing record, and that boy, I don't think anyone was looking at him thinking that's an easy fight.
Nobody wants to get him on,
No, absolutely not. But Darragh, last year you fought June and September. This year you're fighting June and September again. Is that just a coincidence? And how happy are you for the quicker turnaround?
It's just a coincidence, but I was only saying yesterday in an interview, I do like the quick turnaround. I think it's a lazy thing for me. If your fights are 6 months apart, you're back at square one with your cardio and things like that. Whereas I've just come out of a tough camp and straight back into one. So I was already fighting fit at the start of this camp. So I don't have to suffer just as much this time around.
Yeah, but you're constantly in the gym as well, there.
I know, but being in the gym and being fighting fit's two different things. Takes a lot of hard work getting fighting fit.
And tell us this: is it easier to get fighting fit when you're fighting a lightweight than you are fighting a featherweight, where you're depleting yourself that bit more?
No, I don't think there's much difference in that aspect of things. Nah, I don't think so. I think it's roughly the same. Might actually be slightly easier featherweight getting fitter because I'm carrying less.
Fair. And tell us this: obviously this one's at lightweight. We've seen you bounce between both weight classes at amateur and a pro. Is there finding a home for Darragh Kelly in weight class?
I'm staying up. Like I'm staying a lightweight. Like featherweight is doable, but fuck, it just makes it miserable. Like I'm dieting hard for 12 weeks. Like and nah, fuck that. Like it's fucking end up depressed at the end of camp. Nah, no way.
I will say, like, when I see you make featherweight, like, it's not the prettiest version of Darragh Kelly on the scales. But then again, like, people said that about Conor McGregor, and like, then he went out and knocked out nearly everyone at featherweight. So, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to how good your rehydration is and how disciplined you are with the weight cut. So I think people can look terrible, like on the scales, but then like the next day they can put in the performance. But also it can be the other way where people don't look great and then like don't have a good performance and people go, oh, the weight cut. But like that's never affected you from what I can see. Do you feel like you've like perfected your weight cuts?
Well, Yannick, I work with Yannick McGee, like, so he's perfected them. I'm just listening. But I do like I can fight featherweight. Do I fight featherweight at 100%? I don't know. Maybe I get close to it. I'm just maybe missing a wee bit of pop here and there. But like size wise, like I weighed in for that last featherweight fight and it's obviously 65.8 or whatever it was. And then in the fight I was 78.3 kilo, like, so I was like 173 pounds, like. So it's I don't know if that's healthy, like, long term. So I'm gonna stick up here.
Pure muscle as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Yannick is looking after you. Sure, you have a six pack every day of the year, Darragh. Like, jeez.
Yeah. And tell us this, like, how important is it, that relationship between you and Yannick, and like also like I'm sure he's had times where his fighters and athletes aren't 100% honest with him. Like, how vital is it be 100% honest with him as your nutritionist and as him helping you make the weight cut?
Well, there's no point in lying to him. Like, you're paying him so that he can do his job and fucking have you at 100%. So if I'm lying at him just so he thinks that I'm more professional, what the fuck's the point in that? Like,
no, I know, but like I'm not saying you in general, but like I'm saying, like, obviously I'm sure people have like not told him the truth. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit like not telling the teacher the truth type of thing.
I'm sure that'll go well if you do that. Like, but sure, you're paying him. You may as well be honest. Like, I know what you're saying now. That's just stupid.
Yeah,
It
definitely is.
At times, I probably have wanted to lie to him if I did have a pizza or something, like, you know.
Yeah, it's probably more out of camp if he's checking in on you, been like, no, just on the chicken and broccoli here.
He just knows to leave me alone for the first few weeks outside of camp, eating like 7,000 to 8,000 calories a day. Fucking Paddy Pimblett job.
How long have you been working with Yannick, by the way?
I'd say it's about 2 years now.
Nice.
Oh,
shout out Yannick.
Very, very nice. And come here. Obviously, your opponent Dimitri. Funny enough, he's actually fought in 3 Arena before, and he beat one of your teammates, Daniele Scatizzi. What do you remember from that performance, and what do you make of him as an opponent?
I think he's solid. Like, he's 9-0 for a reason. He's a clean kickboxer. Like, does everything well. He's defensively sound, good movement, high volume in his offense. He's clean. Like, he's a smart fighter. He knows how to get the job done. He knows how to get the win. The one thing I'd say about him, he doesn't have crazy power. So I think I'm going to have the advantage there, and I'm gonna strike with him. Like, I'm gonna mix it up more with him, and try and let the hands go and find his chin.
And have you had any training with Daniele in the build fight? Has he given you any, hints and tips on best ways to deal with him?
Yeah, I got a few fight sims in with Daniele, and like, Daniele's solid. Like, so when he's beaten Daniele, although they had a close fight, like, the guy's legit. You know what I mean? He's given me a few tips here and there.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Has Dimitri been in the DM sending any pictures of pizzas or anything?
No, I'm sure he's gonna be hungrier than me, because I don't think he's made lightweight before. I think he's got like 158 was his lowest. I know he fought Daniele at 165, and his last fight was 160. So he might be a hungrier boy than me.
Yeah, he definitely could be. And obviously, like you said, he's got a good kickboxing pedigree. But like, you're not called a Mobile Mauler for nothing. Like when you get a hold of people, like you drag them into deep waters, and like your top game is like absolutely phenomenal. Like very few people have been able to deal with that. Is that the plan going into the fight, to implement your grappling?
I think I have to be very smart in this fight. I can't just go out and be a one-trick pony. I'm gonna have to have a few wee things to trick him. I don't think I can go out, as I said, and just wrestle him. I think that'll be stupid of me. So I'm gonna mix it up with him more.
Yeah, well, I think we've seen you develop as time has gone on as well, and we've seen that boxing improve. And actually, I think I've seen you do some working with Eamon Dean there recently. That's probably closer to home. What's it like getting in some pad work with a high level kickboxer like him?
I love hitting pads, Eamon. He's one of the best pad holders I've ever trained with, and it's always an enjoyable session with him, which you couldn't say with everyone, I suppose. But no, just nice wee tricks, and it's just a nice session to finish the week. When I come home to Donegal every weekend, so he shows me a lot. It's a great session every week.
Yeah, we recently saw you doing some modelling up in Donegal as well. Is that something you want to take up in the future, or you're just living in the now?
You wouldn't know what you get roped into. Fuck. I was very uncomfortable a few times there, but nah, I just got asked to do it, and I was like, "Fuck it, what do I care?" Like, you know. What I mean?
Yeah, if you actually quit in the back pocket, I hope.
Yeah, you're a celebrity up there.
Oh, that's it. There's not too many of us, so it's not hard.
Who else is quite famous from Mobile?
From Mobile? My
brother.
two cousins, actually. My two
Two
cousins. They're making it big in the techno scene, I suppose you'd say. So after the fight, I'm actually going to New York with them. They're touring America, so they're going fucking all over for a month in America.
Really? What's their names? Or what's the band called?
Disc Freak.
Really? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to check
Yeah.
that out.
Some boys are doing well, hey.
Will you be changing your walkout tune?
It's been crossing my mind. All right, now it's not my type of music, but like, never know.
It could be a bit of a mashup.
We'll mash it up, right?
Yeah. Darragh, obviously, I think it was last year you were announced on ESPN's top 25 fighters to keep an eye on under the age of 25. Like when that came out, like what were your sort of reaction, and what happened after? Like what type of people got in touch with you?
Like I wasn't expecting it. Obviously, I was only like 2-0 at the time, and I was very disappointed with my fight before that. So it was nice to get it, nice to get it. People did reach out to me for interviews and stuff, but no, I didn't expect to be on the list. But it is nice, to see the people fucking look at you in that high regard. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, that's a big award. That's big award, Ross, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely high praise. Like you're in there with some of the best fighters in sport, but I think deservedly so. I think your record goes to show it, and the way you've been putting people away also goes to show it as well. Like a large amount of finishes on that record, so I think well deserved, and I think the future is very bright for young Darragh Kelly, and we can't wait to see it. One thing I will say is we've always been quite critical in the past that the Irish fighters haven't got as much of a chance to fight abroad from Bellator as other ones, and now you're fighting in London. How happy are you to fight abroad? And do you feel like this is a chance for you to put on a performance to be like, look, I'm available to fight anywhere in the world for you guys, not just in Dublin and not just in London?
That's exactly how it feels. And the perfect opponent, like, I got offered a few names, and I got offered 3 different guys, and I thought, now maybe this is stupid, but I thought this guy was the best of them, and I thought he's going to bring the most value if I beat him. So to my name, like, so I thought, fuck it, I'm going to take him, and probably was more favorable matchups, but as I said, he brings more to the table. There's more for me to take from it. So if I can go out and beat this guy, it does show that I can go anywhere, and I can mix it up with any of them. So, I just have to get this job done now, and I think that will put respect on my name and put me in a good spot.
Would you, with a quick win on Bellator London on the 14th of September, would you be interested in jumping on the mic and getting on that PFL pay-per-view card on October 19th?
October 19th?
Yeah.
Where is that? I don't even know, but
Saudi.
it doesn't matter.
It's going to be Saudi, I'd say.
100%, 100%. Another payday. That's what it's all about. And as I said, the work's already done. We're already fit. Jump straight back in an ideal world.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell us about this. Obviously, now that PFL have taken over Bellator, I still don't really understand why they're running as two separate entities, but we can leave that for another day. Do you feel like there will be opportunity for more frequent outings for yourself now that obviously there's more cards to get on?
That's the way it seems now. There hasn't been much talk, but I called for a card after my last fight. I got it. It seems like they're going to keep us more active. So it does seem like a good thing overall.
Yeah, because I'd want to ask, would you be wanting to go towards the Bellator lightweight title? But that you'd probably be more looking towards the PFL lightweight title, wouldn't you?
I actually haven't thought about it, to be honest. I'm literally just thinking about this contract. I've got 2 more fights after this one, and I'll cross that bridge then when it comes to it. But it's all about making money, I suppose, too, and seeing which way is best for your career to go. So I'll talk it out with a few boys, but for now, I haven't actually thought too much about it. One fight at a time, finish this contract, and see where we're at.
Yeah, stick to the modeling there.
Maybe that'll be a handier gig, The early years don't go too good with it, though.
One small bit of beef I've had with PFL is that with the lightweight tournament this year, they actually left out. There was no Irish fighters in there, so I was like, "What's up with that?" So I think I'd like to see maybe your next step in your career. Maybe if there was a European tournament for you to fight in that one for the 100K and the belt. But also, I feel like they probably need to eliminate a few belts. I feel like there's belts being handed out willy-nilly in this promotion, like the super fight belts, the PFL belts, the Bellator belts, the European belts, the $1 million belt. We need to just have these people are the champions, and that's it. Otherwise, you're it's almost like WWE where you have belts on every show, and
I get you.
Who is the top dog. But I don't mind a European belt. I actually think that would make them different. But I think if you win the European belt, you automatically then get into the $1 million tournament. I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah, but that'd be a good idea. And then if they do the brackets, and then the European champions on the bottom, and then the current champion is on the top, and then they could potentially meet each other in the final. Yeah. So you're basically seeded.
Yeah.
Darragh, you look great modeling them photos with a European belt, wouldn't you?
That would help, all right. And $100,000 too.
I think that would work.
Nice.
Well, yeah. How much would you have to give a kickback to JC there now for going around with video on you?
Oh, fucking half, I'd say.
He's expensive, that fella.
Yeah, he takes a lot looking after him. Nah, I'm only joking. He's good though.
And obviously on this card as well, you also have your good friend Kieran Clark on the card as well. Is it nice to have another SBG fighter on the card with you, and someone that you've competed with on many cards before?
Oh, for sure, right? Makes it that bit easier. You're both going over together. You're cutting weight together, and both going out and trying to get the job done. It's nice to have boys around you,
Absolutely,
yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to Kieran as well. Darragh, how many people are going to be going over to support you in London? Sorry.
I think there's more going now to this than there was the last Dublin fight. I think it's actually cheaper for them to fucking fly over to London, stay,
really,
and go down to Dublin, get the hotel. So I think it's around 100, maybe a bit more.
Yeah, Moville's going to be empty.
Moville's empty. It's empty at the best of times, I know.
And who's going to be in your corner at this fight as well, there?
So Dave Roach, I have my boxing coach. I've been working a lot now in fighter. It's Emmett Brennan and Jordan Murr's gym. So Jordan Murr's in my corner. So I've been working a lot of boxing with him. So, and then I think Kean Macker as well.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Emmett Brennan. He's going to be fighting in the Tree Arena on Colin Walsh's card, Ross, live in UC Fight Pass.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys down in Fight or whichever way you say it. Fight or, I'm going to say. Emmett, don't come for me. I feel like he's going to give out to me over that. But they seem to be making great waves in the MMA space as well. I've seen them work with the likes of Gary Rooney and stuff as well. So they seem to be doing quite a lot of work with the MMA community. So fair play to them. And obviously Emmett doing his thing. Hopefully, can't wait to see him get the win in 3 as well. Is that something you'd be going to, Darragh?
That's the week after, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I'm
20th.
I'm away to New York with them boys. I was saying about the techno.
Oh yeah. He's away. He's away with those ultra beats.
That's it.
Yeah, well, Darragh,
Who would have thought it, Baz? Darragh Kelly, techno head.
I'm gonna have to check this
Not
out.
me, you know.
But definitely, I can't wait to hear Darragh's walkout song now and see if he actually gets this mashed up. Well, we all know Dimitri's going to get mashed up anyway. But Darragh, before we let you go, is there anything else you want to say to the people that are going to be tuning in to see you compete in London on Bellator London on the 14th of September?
I think you're going to see a new evolved version of myself. I think I've really put it together with, as we just mentioned, Jordan Murray there. I think I've really put it all together this time. For the last couple of years, I felt like I wasn't making massive improvements. It was kind of slow and things were improving by themselves. Now I've improved. I think it's all coming together. So I feel you'll see the best version of myself and coming to finish this guy. Like,
You better believe it, Basmo. Darragh Kelly only comes to finish. Can't wait to see it over at Bellator London. Also on the card, you have Fabian Edwards fighting against Johnny Eblin in a rematch for the middleweight title. That first title fight happened in Dublin. And then also on the card, you have Kieran Clark. So there's a nice Irish contingent on the card. And then obviously there's a good main event as well. So definitely make sure to check it out, Basmo.
Definitely. Darragh, we want to thank you very, very much for your time. We can't wait to see you go 16 wins in a row. And we'll let you get on with the rest of your day, bud.
Nice one, boys.
Energized Show, up the Irish.
So Ross, that was Darragh Kelly. He was looking scary there, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, like he's a scary phenomenon, and he's such a good talent. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him. And like we said there, I feel like Bellator are pushing him and Kieran Clark in the right direction this time out. They're both getting steps up in competition, and that's all we've been asking for. We want these guys to be treated like the potential future stars that they are, and I think that's what needs to happen. And I think, you know, Bellator and PFL have a lot more things that they need to iron out. I think a massive issue is the European side of things that they have out there, and they need to like keep building Europe, but like do it steadily, and like they don't do a good job of meshing the two either, and they seem to not really know when to pull the trigger on bringing European talent to the States.
But yeah, but I think that's why they were doing the PFL tournament, and now the likes of Dakota is now crossed over into America. Look at the way the Francis Ngannou pay-per-view that's on in October that I brought up to Darragh about, because like this is the type of athlete you want in the card. Like Paul Hughes is meant to be fighting AJ McKee. Now that hasn't been announced yet, but that's the talk, that's the word in the street. And until that's announced, like we won't like overly discuss that fight. But that's a fight they want to put in that pay-per-view as well. So like Paul's just in the door now, and he's getting that massive push. And like fair play, Paul actually deserves. He's a star. But like there's other stars here as well, like Darragh Kelly. Your Darragh Kellys, your Kieran Clarks. They're undefeated. Like we're not just saying this for people who are like with terrible records. These are the guys. These are the guys that sell tickets. These are the guys people want to tune in and see. Absolutely,
like, and they're from like different parts of the country as well than other fighters that like gives them that big rub as well. Like obviously Darragh from Donegal. Like, I only think of Jordan Fury as the other fighter from Donegal who's doing the bits there. And then also, like, if you look at Kieran Clark, he's from Drogheda, and I feel like he's leading the line there. So these guys have quite a loyal community behind them, and they're following these guys, and I feel like that's what Bellator need to capital on. But I also think they need to decide, are they Bellator or are they PFL? Like, why are they still running the two congruently? I know people have said, oh, it's a contractual thing or whatever, but like, surely they can market as one, if that makes sense. I think a lot of the big issues is that the Bellator socials are larger than the PFL socials, and then like they can't actually physically merge those two socials together.
Yeah. So
it's a bit like, what do we actually do with these socials? Like, it'd be silly to let a page with a couple of 100,000, and then I think in the Bellator case 1 or 2 million, to just like die off. So I think that's where the issue is, and obviously they need the social tools to promote the fights.
The thing is, our loyalty doesn't stand to any promotion. It stands to the fighters, and that's why we came out and said the stuff. Now, like, if you want to go back and watch it, it was the episode with Reese McKee. I'll actually link it at the end. Myself and Ross went on a bleeding mad one over that. But look, if you're going to be doing a podcast almost 9 years next month, like you're definitely passionate about it. And that's where the passion comes from, because if we didn't give a shit, we wouldn't be doing this 9 years, would we, Ross?
No, absolutely not. And like, I think at the end of the day, we want the fighters to, get the big opportunities on the big shows, and that's what we're looking to see. And I think, like, look at Paul Hughes, like they really value him, and like, looks like all things are pointing towards AJ McKee. That's a huge fight. That's number one contender fight. The winner of that will most definitely fight for the belt. And that's what we want to see these Irish fighters get to. That's where we want to see them. And like you said, Darragh Kelly, 6-0, 9-0 as an amateur. Like, I want to see him start fighting in those European shows. Like, if you look at someone like Valentina Scatizzi, was 2-1 and she was in the European tournament. Like, I want to see Darragh Kelly in the European tournament. And I feel like they messed up some of the European tournament. I saw, like, I think it was Kane Musa in there in the European tournament. Like, for me, he's too experienced to be in the European tournament. Like, they should be looking at him as like the focal point, as like the UK guy in the main tournament, if that makes sense. And someone like Darragh Kelly, who's 6-0 on the rise, there should be almost a cap on the European tournament that you can't have more than 12 fights, and that really like helps build those guys.
Yeah, I was just going to interrupt you there, but I'm too polite. I was going to say, like, maybe 10 fights or less, so it's like a prospect tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, like, and if you win that, like, you are the shit, you know what I mean? And like, there's your next guy, because really, how many fights did you have? 3, if not 4 fights. Then you're like the prospect in the organization.
Yeah, and I like the idea also of a European belt. Like, he's the European champion, PFL European champion. I think that like makes sense. And then, like, if you won a few times in Europe, then and I think, like, you should win X amount of times. You should be defending your belt, and then you should actually go and fight the world champion, if that makes sense. It should be almost like a win the European title. If you can defend it twice, you get an automatic world title fight. There you go.
Well, there's just some ideas, because, like, as you know, Bellator, like, it's well known here, but not many of the fighters are known here, apart the Irish fighters.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, Bellator is still waiting to merge with PFL. When's that even happening?
Well, I think it's already actually happened. It's just like, I don't know when they're actually going to properly merge the brands together. Yeah. And I think, like I was saying, it's a large, I think, to do with the socials, that like Bellator has such a larger social media presence than PFL, that like they can't just give that up. And like, it's not like the PFL one's so poor that they just give that one up either. Also, like, with the, I suppose, just touching on that, like the Ngannou Ferreira press conference, like, I didn't think that was really great, to be honest. Jake Paul wasn't really a great host. Obviously, for name value, great to have him there, but didn't think he actually did a great job of hosting the pay-per-view press conference. And then also, whether it was translated poorly or not, like, Henan Ferreira sort of saying that, like, he basically said, like, forget about your son who passed away, like, I'm your biggest problem, type thing. Like, whatever way that comment was translated or wasn't translated, whether he said it or not, I just think, like, that's like absolutely disgraceful and disgusting thing to be saying, or disgustingly to be translated, because, like, if the translator translated it wrong, he should like know enough of the backstory to be like, just can't really say that.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But like, you know what? I actually didn't tune into that press conference, because a press conference with people whose first language isn't English never really goes to plan. And as we just found out there, Ferreira came out with that statement. But I mean, people even in the UFC say like fucked up shit as well.
Oh no, definitely. I'm not saying like that's on PFL or whatever. I'm just saying, like, as in that, like, that wasn't right. I'm blaming either Ferreira or the translator there. Like, I know some people have said that was the right translation, that wasn't the right translation. I've seen both camps say both, but like, I also don't know whether when you say certain things and directly translate them, they don't actually mean what that person meant. So yeah. I don't know whether if he meant it, he's an absolutely terrible human being. But if he didn't mean it, I feel bad for him because that's not what he meant. So it's hard. It
Al-
sounds like,
Although at the end of the day, it got people talking about it. That's the thing.
yeah, it did. It did. Although I don't think anyone wants to promote a fight over the loss of someone else's child. So like,
No, Jesus, no.
mm.
But no, well, like we are still waiting to see if Paul Hughes going to be on the card, and it would be great to see some more Irish fighters on it as well. But Ross, Bellator is actually on this weekend in San Diego, but there is other events on this weekend as well. FCC, Trevor McKengo and Armin Hersig are competing in that card. Cage Warriors is back in Glasgow, Ross. Will we have a look at this card before we get into this weekend's UFC?
Yeah, but I sort of want to give the FCC boys a quick 1 minute or 2 minute shout out.
Go ahead.
Armin Hersig is doing his first full camp under Manchester top team. So it'll be very interesting to see how he does out there. I've seen him online talking a lot, so I'll be very interested to see if the crane can back it up. Hopefully he's found a good home over in Manchester, and hopefully he can put it together. And then Trevor McKengo, go on.
Yeah. Armin seems settled there.
Yeah, he does. So like, hopefully it works out for him. And then obviously big Trev McKengo. He's fighting a heavyweight against Hussein Hassan. Is that how you say?
Hussein Hassan.
Yeah. So obviously, but Hussein's last fight was at welterweight, and I saw him do an interview saying basically he's just fat now, and he has a lazy man style. If he's tired, he won't hit you, but if he's not tired, he'll throw the kitchen sink at you. That's along those sort of lines. I'm not really a fan of the attitude he has towards it. Like, he's not acting like a pro athlete from what I can see. And I think Trevor McKengo's in the best shape I've seen him in a very long time. So I think Trevor McKengo's going to go out there and pick up the W. And I'd like to see him at light heavyweight next, because I feel like he's cutting down towards that light heavyweight 93 kilo weight class. And look, Trev is an interesting character. He definitely knows how to promote a fight in his own way, and I also just think that he's got very good IMAF experience as well, so he can definitely back it up. So I want to see him get in there, and I think he's one of those ones who potentially could be, he had a certain style amateur, and I feel like you might see that totally change now at pro, because it opens up more weapons.
Yeah, also shout out to C-Mac. Conor McCarthy was also meant to be in this card as well, but he's not fighting on anymore, and he's signed with Cage Warriors, which is great to see SBG fighters beginning to join the Cage Warriors ranks, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Max Lally there very soon as well. Ross, Cage Warriors is on this weekend live on UFC Fight Pass in Glasgow. There's a welterweight tournament for $50,000. O'Meal Brown is taking on Henry Lintula, and in the other semi-final, Burama Kamara is taking on Marco Kisic. I'd fancy O'Meal Brown to win that tournament.
Yeah, well, like, one person who I was sort of looking out for in that tournament is actually in the reserve bout. It's Sean Clancy Jr. We saw him fight here in Dublin, and I think if there's a pull-out, I'll put it this way: my pick for the tournament is going to be Sean Clancy Jr. to come in from the reserve bout and win the whole thing.
Ross, this sounds like WWE shit. George Hardwick defends his lightweight title against Christian Iorga. George was last out on Dana White's Contender Series and was defeated there. He didn't really look like himself in that fight, but like, everyone knows George Hardwick like brings it every fight. Obviously not our last fight, but like this fight, he's definitely bringing it.
Yeah, definitely. I can see nothing else but a George Hardwick win, and to be honest, I feel like he'll probably get a stoppage. I think we might see a vintage left hook to the body. George Hardwick is an absolute animal, man, so I can't wait to see that. Also, Chris Bungard on the card, who's going to get an absolute rupture salvation fighting in Scotland, as will Reece McEwen. Can't wait to see that. Kerr Harvey is an up-and-coming bantamweight to look out for. Definitely make sure to check him out. And then also on the card is Charles Joyner, who's a 6'6", maybe even taller, light heavyweight on the card. So look out for the big boys on that one. It'll be very interesting to see how that one goes down. Charles Joyner had like a fight of the year candidate against Jordan O'Neill previously. So definitely watch out for him as well.
Yeah, and then also straight after, the UFC is
Straight
back, baby.
after.
Gilbert Burns takes on Sean Brady in the Apex, the legendary Apex, Ross.
Basmo, it's your pick this weekend. Who early doors? What's your prediction?
Early doors, I'm going to go for Gilbert Burns to defeat Sean Brady.
How do you think he gets this one? Do you think he'll sub him?
Potentially so. Like that's his real go-to. Well, that's what I'm feeling now. But who knows? I could be like, I could get my mind changed as the week goes on, depending on how people make weight, etc. Also, who else on this card? Jessica Andrade.
What I really want to know, Baz, is what you make of the build up for the Sphere.
Jeez, this card's not great at all, bro. The build up for the Sphere. I feel like it's being talked about a lot. Looking at the card, I haven't been overly blown away. I was watching some of MMA Guru stuff about it, and he keeps saying how shit it is. But I mean, like, Sean O'Malley against Merab Dvalishvili, that's a fight that everyone wants to see, so it doesn't really matter how good or bad the card is.
And tell me this: what do you think of the promotion for the card? Because I've seen some people online say the arena's getting more promotion than the fighters.
Well, the arena is the whole reason.
Do you think it's the main selling point? Do you think that's a bigger selling point than O'Malley versus Merab?
Yeah, well, do you know what? Right, like when Dana announced the Sphere, like we thought we were going to get like potential Conor against Chandler there, or Conor against Diaz there, and then Merab against Sean O'Malley. Now that's a huge fight, but I don't think what Dana said he's actually delivering on, because like obviously bar that main event, you have Grasso against Shevchenko as well as the co-main. Like that's an interesting fight because what happened on Tough. But
also, Grasso's Mexican, and it's like a Mexican Independence Week, so like that was
but
that's the whole Noche thing part of it.
Oh no, I get that, but I don't think they overly had to really plug. Like I don't think they had to use that date to sell the event. Like I mean, I don't know. I think.
I also think they're missing like I think Yair Rodriguez fight added to that card would go down the tree. I think like obviously Brandon Moreno's off on a hiatus, but like if they added like if he was available and he could fight in the card as well, I feel like if you're going to do the Mexican aspect of it, you need to lean heavily into the Mexican aspect of it, not just like sort of here's a few Mexican guys on it. Thanks very much. You know what I mean?
They could have and should have put bigger names on the card, but obviously this comes down to money as well. Like he's saying, it's like they're like $20 million deep now, like setting up this event.
Well, I'll put it this way: I'm very interested to see how it's going to look from like on the TV.
Yeah,
so, like we'll see how that is. Like, are we going to be? It's going to be. Are we going to see the fight double, as in like seeing the octagon there and then toward the screen as well? I don't know.
Yeah, well, the tickets look very heavily priced, as if it's like a Conor fight.
Cheap as chips, man. $5,000 to get in the door. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Jeez, $5,000, bro.
Send the check to Hunter Campbell, man.
Yeah, but look the way the direction Sean O'Malley got in his last fight against Aljamain Sterling and the arena. Like you could actually feel the energy off the arena during that fight. I know it was in Boston, and like Boston's like it's huge in America for sports fans. But
we have no idea whether it's going to feel like massive. Like it could be brilliant atmosphere, or it could be not great. We won't know until we see it.
Yeah, well, no better. There is better fights, but I mean, what a great fight to have to headline the event.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see what the capacity for this Sphere is as well, because I would have thought it would be quite low. Although it looks huge, as in like the actual Sphere itself looks huge, but like I don't know how many people actually fit inside it.
How many people are you thinking? Like 5,000?
I'd say give or take, yeah, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's we'll obviously get into that event more because that's on the same night as Bellator London, so you can check that out after, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. Oh, actually, apparently capacity of 18,600 people seated. All
really,
right,
yeah.
So it's a big stadium.
Fair play to what do you use?
In fairness, I've only sort of seen clips of people like almost sitting there watching like sort of cinema style. If that makes sense. It doesn't look humongous, but like maybe there's more layers to it. Maybe it's like an onion. Peel back the
Yeah.
layers.
Well, I've only really seen some of the U2 stuff from the arena, so it will be very interesting. I know they're like,
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have vertigo. Ba-dum-bum.
you would not want to have vertigo, bro. But like, look, it should be a great event. Ross, like as we were saying to Darragh earlier, UFC Fight Pass are hosting Callum Walsh's return to Ireland on September 20th, Friday in the Tree Arena. That's going to be a big night for. It's good. Do you know what? Like I saw Dana doing interviews with Irish outlets. So Callum obviously came back and did a bit of a tour of Ireland as well. Like, what are you sort of expecting from this event in Dublin on the 20th of September?
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see. With obviously UFC have heavily backed Callum Walsh. It'll be interesting to see what sort of pulling power Callum will have. Like, will he bring up a large amount of people from Cork? Obviously Thomas Carty's fighting in the card. So is Brennan. So like there will be a large Dublin contingent, but it's going to be interesting to see how ticket sales go for this. I assume they're going to expect to get in around 5,000 people or so. So let's see how this fight night does compared to other ones, and let's see how big a superstar Callum Walsh is in Ireland. Because at the end of the day, like he's living the superstar lifestyle over in the States, over in Vegas. Let's see how that translates over here.
Yeah. I think people will be like a lot of people will be tuning in for that. So like hopefully he gets the knockout win.
Yeah, and I expect to see him. I expect to see him do a lot of media in the build up to this event.
Yeah, and then Ross, over the weekend the Tree Arena was packed for Misfits boxing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Shout out to Dave Fogarty. He was unfortunate on the event, best known as Gingerbeard Photography, Conor McGregor's personal photographer. And then shout out to Ben Williams, who like has taken TikTok by storm over the last couple of years. Also has his band New Era, who do that Birds in the Sky song, who I'm sure everyone's heard at this stage. And he looks really good in the ring, by the way. Really, really good. And he's in like serious shape. I was impressed. And I was also impressed at how full the stadium was.
Yeah, well, you see, some of these names are actually huge. Like your Danny Simpsons, who used to play for United and won the league with Leicester. He was fighting a guy called Danny Aarons, who's supposed to
also
be a huge streamer. Yeah, I'd never actually heard of him. I know he was having a back and forth to your man Bevo. Supposedly Bevo's falling off. What?
He was supposed to fight Bevo first.
Yeah,
Bevo
no, that's the thing. But like, supposedly Bevo's falling off or something, man.
I never bought the Bevo hype in the first place.
Some people call you the Irish Bevo.
Same teeth.
Same eating style, I was thinking. But look, like at the end of the day, people just want to be entertained. Everything, like if you're putting out a product, it's people are there to be entertained. Like, I mean,
from someone who knows nothing about them, and like, don't come at me in the comments if this person's done something terribly wrong. But that guy HS Tiki Taki seemed to be the winner of the event for me. Like, he seemed to like make a show of opponent all week long and then go in there and spark me over.
Yeah.
So like to me, from not knowing anything he's ever done, from entertainment point of view, that guy was the winner.
Yeah.
So
look, like the Ben Williams' stock just keeps rising. I wouldn't be surprised if he headlines an event sometime soon as well.
Yeah, well, like I feel like that chap can do whatever he wants at the moment. Fair play to him.
Yeah, well,
the world is his oyster.
The Misfits boxing just seems to get bigger and bigger, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah, I think as a whole, it's definitely way better than the MVP boxing.
The MVP is Jake Paul's one.
Yeah, like I feel like Jake Paul's not on the card. He doesn't really run an event. If that makes sense. As opposed to Misfits can like. I feel like there's more influencers who bought into the Misfits.
Yeah, but like the MVP one isn't really a sort of.
Oh, it's not another Misfits, isn't it?
No,
okay.
No.
It's just Jake Paul's one, is it?
No, because what was the one Kiefer fought on?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
I'm gonna get absolutely crucified in this.
Oh,
you Googling? Because Kiefer fought Aaron Chalmers, Keane Cowley fought on it as well.
Although I feel like one of them was like real dodgy and doesn't pay their fighters. That's what I heard.
I think that's Masvidal's one, or Floyd Mayweather. Who did he not pay? He didn't pay Logan Paul.
Oh, Keeper Crosby boxing. That's what I googled. Kingpin.
Kingpin boxing. That's. I think that's a rival to Misfits. But I don't think.
I don't think it's in the same league though.
Yeah, I don't think. I haven't heard of it coming back since.
I heard
Well,
they were in
anyway.
financial trouble.
Well,
Kingpin.
that seemed like a good event as well. That was sold out as well.
Yeah, well, I think it's maybe the price they have to pay these influencers to do the boxing though. It's probably that.
Yeah. Well, Ross, next weekend. Oh yeah, and also shout out to Northern Irish Grapple that goes down this Sunday as well. Ross, next weekend it's going to be Canelo versus Berlanga, UFC 306, O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili, Bellator
And another
London.
blockbuster Energized Show.
Lee Hammond's going to be fighting on WoW FC, and your fighting championships goes down next Sunday, the 15th of September. We want to thank Darragh Kelly for coming on the show. Ross, thanks a million for coming on the show.
Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always,
Stay
energized.
energized.
Energized Show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.